Okay, everybody, welcome to our regular Thinking Thursday. And today I am really honored because we have a wonderful person here who's going to be talking about what we call energy healing channel. He's like an energy healing channel. Okay, Harinder Singh ji yahan par hai. And he is, I am very intrigued actually by what he's written. He says that he works with his wife, Aanchal Singh, who is a playing card reader. I don't know much about this, but we'd love to hear more about it later on from his wife itself. She's a extremely valuable contributor to understanding problems of clients, and she provides an additional guidance on what areas to heal. So I think it'll be very interesting to speak to her, possibly in some other Thursday, where we could have her and she could talk to us about playing card reading. Mr. Singh has learned Reiki from the Reiki Master, Mr. Nalin Nirula, and he worked as his assistant from 1997 to 2000. And his guru initiated him into Reiki level 3. Then he started his own healing practice in 2003, and he has been healing professionally ever since. He says all his energy healing work is focused on distance healing, which is another very intriguing aspect of healing. Over the past many years, he has included healing, which is related to physical and mental health issues, business problems, professional issues of employment, legal cases, relationship issues, and blocks in studies of students. And he says that he chose this profession. He's not taken Reiki mastership. He doesn't even intend to teach Reiki to students at this stage of his career. But he says most of his time is spent in healing various situations that clients face. If you would like to know more about him, he has a website, www.sparklingstrands.in. I will share the link with everybody on the group. And he also has a Facebook page, Sparkling Strands, under the category of Alternative and Holistic Health Service. I'm truly intrigued by the work that he does, because distance healing is something that we really need to understand what it is and how it is done. There are many people who do it. I've never been much impressed, but जब मुझे पता चला इनके बारे में from our very own Deepti Kathapalia ने मुझे इनके बारे में बताया, and she was really praising him so much. I said, okay, Deepti, if you're praising him, we'll definitely have him on our Thinking Thursday, because this is a very intriguing topic. And जब मेरी बात भी हुई phone पे, I spoke to Mr. Singh on the phone, and we had a wonderful chat. And I realized that I think he's the right person to actually tell us more about distance healing, how it is done, what is distance healing, how does the receiver receive distance healing, कितना टाइम आपको डिस्टेंस हीलिंग देनी पड़ती है. So many questions I think we all will have for him. So welcome, and a lot of love and light, sir, to you from all of us here.
Thank you so much.
And
thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so much.
coming in. Thank you. I'm
Thank
just
you.
going to share your PPT so that
Okay.
you may
Sure.
just a second.
Yeah.
Just let me know if you're able to see the PPT, that's all.
Yes, I'm able to see. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, so Mr. Singh, over to you.
Right. So when I'm describing healing or talking about it, first I need to give you a foundation of not only what healing is, but what the human body is, how we come into this world, and what are the limitations that we have when we are in this world. Because as a soul, we do not have any limitations, but when we are born in this limited reality, we have a lot of limitations. So the first thing I'd like to talk about is the limit of space, and this is the area that I'm going to talk about throughout this talk. Although there are 5 different limitations that we have when we are, as they say, the soul comes from the infinite but into the finite. So the first uh, limitation, or the first limitation, as I say, is niyati, which is dependence, that we have a limited freedom. What does this mean? This basically means that uh, we are limited by regulation, by guidance. Who guides us? Who gives us that regulation? It is the physical body that we are born in. Suppose if you're born as a bird, you can fly, but if you're born as a human being, you cannot have wings. So that is a limitation. So the body that you inhabit is the first limitation that we have. Of course, there are other limitations like time. We are limited by birth and death. So we can go through a time frame, but that itself limits the uh, power of the soul, as we say. The third is we are limited by what we call as rag. Rag means basically that interest that matures into desire, and it is our desire that brings us into this world. And of course, we get attached to it. The fourth is vidya, or knowledge. The difference between a soul or the divine and a normal human being, because we are discussing human beings, is that we seek knowledge. Whereas the divine does not seek knowledge, he has complete, I would say, realization, and he doesn't have any knowledge. Neither does the soul have any knowledge because it doesn't seek it. So it has what we call realization. The fifth one is called kala. Kala is a limited power of action. If you understand that even scientists have known that we use only about 2% of our brain. So this itself is kala. Kala means that we only have a limited understanding of what this world is about. And we can only have that, with that limited understanding, we perform our actions. So these are the 5 uh, limitations that the soul that comes into this world is born with. I'm only going to talk about the first one, that is niyati. I think I've already explained these things, so we can carry on with the next slide and the next one. Yeah. So we come to what we call the energy principles. Now, this is very important to understand if you're going to do healing. The first one is like attracts like. We've heard about this in the law of attraction. Now, the law of attraction states that whatever we view, whatever we think, whatever we imagine, we can manifest. This is only one of the energy principles. Now, it's a very oversimplification to think that only with the law of attraction we can manifest anything, because there are limitations that happen. So I'm going to talk about first about the law of attraction. And the law of attraction is basically made of 2 things. One is our thought, which is electrical in nature, because that thought is connected to the first manifested chakra, which is the third eye chakra. And that is in the center of the eyebrows, which is a part of the brain. This is an electrical impulse. The thought is an electrical impulse, and even scientists say that thought, or whatever we are thinking, the brain is working, it is an electrical system. Whereas the heart is another area which is extremely important, because in the law of attraction, the heart is supposed to be magnetic in nature. So, if we say in a very simplified form, the human being is electromagnet. So, this is how the law of attraction works. Now, again, when I go further and explain the details of the chakras, you will see that the law of attraction is only related to the first 3 chakras. If we exclude the crown chakra, then these chakras are the third eye chakra, the throat chakra, and the heart chakra. This is where the law of attraction usually works. But we also have material chakras, which are the lower ones, which have a completely different story. And this is where I'm going to explain the law of karma also. So, right now, we go to the next one, which is called the energy follows desire and thought, which is the law of manifestation. Now, when we, in any case, I think I've more or less explained this. We can go to the next one. The aura is, of course, composed of 5 bodies, but we will discuss that later. I have explained to you the law of attraction. Now we go to the law of manifestation, which is the previous slide. Now, law of manifestation is that if we repeat a thought, that thought solidifies into some form of action. Now, that action, once we repeat it, it becomes a habit. And this habit, in turn, a number of habits, when they collect together and form together, they form a character. And this character is what actually is responsible in astrological horoscope. Uh, an astrologer is able to predict because of the habits and the character we already have. And that's how the destiny pattern is easily predictable. But those who practice a spirituality, who practice how to change their destiny pattern, that comes under the purview of healing. And that is what really matters if we are looking at healing. And that's where I'm going to talk about how these things can change, how a destiny pattern can also change. There are, uh, I won't go into that, but I'll just tell you the next one, which is law of karma. Now, karma is supposed to be very clearly said that it is a law of cause and effect. So when you have a cause, you don't know what the effect is. So I always say that cause is effect concealed. And of course, the effect is cause revealed, which means once the effect comes to you, you come to know what really was the cause that has caused this. Now, karma starts at the level of the thought or desire. When I spoke about the third point, which was the third limitation of desire, this is where karma actually starts. And this actually binds us in the life and death cycle. And as we repeat the karma, how do we repeat it? I always say that just as you irrigate a plant, you irrigate a karma with what? With emotion and with thought. The moment you think about something again and again, and moment you use your emotion in a certain pattern, you are actually feeding the karma. And also, in terms of manifestation, when I was talking about the law of attraction, that is what it does. So, our body, our system, our human system is a mixture of the law of karma and the law of attraction. Now, karma is a very complex thing. So, I've always said that one cause can lead to one effect or one result. Many causes can also lead to one effect, but there are sometimes a single cause can also lead to many effects. So these are the possibilities when we are talking about karma and the law of cause and effect. So there is a saying, Gehno Karmo Gati, which means Gehen means that which is very complex. Karmo Gati, the speed with which karma happens is not easy to understand. So the wheel of karma, as I've written here, runs very deep. It moves at its pace, but it also grinds very fine, which means that it makes sure that you learn your lesson in life. That is the purpose of karma. We can go to the next one. Law of karma is, and the next one is the law of morality, right and wrong. Now, the right and wrong is something which is defined at various levels. On a personal level, we understand what is right and wrong. On a family level, it is different. On the level of society or of the state or the culture we are in, it is different. On the level of religion, it is different. Now, we all know that Hinduism is spread out throughout the country, but the culture with which it is followed is different. So, if in the south you'll see when you're worshipping the mother goddess, there's a lot of lemons which are used. But in the north, we use flowers, that too the hibiscus flower. So these are different ways in which we approach religion. So that law of what is right and what is wrong keeps changing from place to place, from culture to culture, from national to world level. So this is how the law of morality actually is very closely connected to the law of karma. But it is also very connected to the next slide, which I will say is the law of dharma. And dharma is something which is also it's a single word, but it has many meanings. So the essential nature or quality of an object defines its function. What does this mean? If you look at, let's say, a deity, let's talk about Lord Ganesha. The Lord Ganesha is heavy in nature. He has a face of an elephant. Now, if you look at what is the quality of an elephant, it has a lot of memory, right? So, just like that, uh, uh, he also represents something which is very heavy, the earth element. So his form is defining his function. Now, similarly, if you look at any animal, if you look at any object, if you look at any subject, you will find different people, even those who are having different facial features among humans, or a person who is of a different color, they will have a different kind of the way they operate. Their dharma is very different. What may affect us as people who are Brahmins, who do not take non-vegetarian food, for them, vegetarian doesn't really matter. They'll take any kind of non-vegetarian. So you have to understand that dharma is different for different people, for different classes, for different uh, creations of the divine. So, dharma also means pillar or foundation on which the universe and its parts exist. Because if the universe does not work in a fashion, if you're in where the sun and the other planets are located, they are located in a certain way. The galaxy is there also. So, there are so many things which are interconnected. So, there is a foundation on the basis of which the universe works. That too is dharma. That which is natural and appropriate to adopt. Now, the nature of fire is that it gives two qualities. It gives heat and it gives light. That is the natural quality of fire. So that is the natural and appropriate thing for fire. Now, again, on the level of humans, dharma changes with occupation, a work or a profession. It changes with the function, position, relationship, changes with stages of life. When you're young, brahmacharya. When you're in your family life, grihast. So again, these are things which change, and they do affect not only our destiny, but they affect the way we live our life. It also changes with the time of day. So if you're talking about the morning, it's a different time. It's a different way that we are functioning in the morning, different way we are functioning at night. We are sleeping at night. That too is dharma in a way. So this is what I'm trying to say. So these are the different uh, factors which determine our life. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now we're talking about the dimensions here. This is extremely important to understand. So we start with the Paramatma, who is obviously throughout, is present everywhere in the universe. Then, as a particle of the Supreme Divine, is the soul, which we call the Jivatma. And this Jivatma is covered by what we call the Panchakosha, which is the Anandamaya Kosh, the Vijnanamaya Kosh, the Manomaya Kosh, Pranamaya Kosh, Annamaya Kosh. I've given two different images here. What needs to be understood is in one image you have the Annamaya Kosha, the smallest, and in the other image the Annamaya Kosha is the largest image. Now, what this means is that the energy bodies actually interpenetrate the physical body. So, what each one is trying to say, both of them are correct. The aura not only is outside of us, it is also inside of us. This is what I'm trying to say. Can we go to the next slide, please? Now, if you look at the Panchakoshas, so the Anandamaya Kosha, see, Anandamaya does not actually mean that it is a place of bliss. They call it the bliss body, but it is a place where you don't have any feeling, any consciousness of pain or pleasure. Both of them are absent. All of us reach this state when we are in the process of sleeping, and this is called the process of deep sleep. Another way of looking at it, it is also where meditative awareness is there. You are aware in meditation that this is there, but you don't feel anything. So it's not completely black. In fact, it's a lot of light there. You really reach that position. But in sleep, you don't know what's happened. When you get up, you know you've slept, but you're not aware. So there are two aspects of this. The one aspect is what is called the unconscious mind, and this is a part of the psychological dimension. I will explain this. When we go to sleep first, it takes a little time, and then we are into what is called the dreaming state of sleep, which is the subconscious mind. And then we reach the unconscious mind, where we are not aware of anything. We call it sushupti. This is where rest actually occurs. And to reach this, normally takes about 8 hours. But to reach this, it takes, once you're there, 15 to 20 minutes is what you need. And you get complete rest. It's like your soul has connected with the Supreme Soul. The drop in the ocean has connected with the ocean. And that's all the rest that it needs. When we send healing, the first thing you will see when a person needs healing is they'll feel sleepy. Why? Because they have collected a lot of stress, a lot of other things which are in this world. So the first effect of, if Tripti Ma'am was asking, it is very, I'd like to know what distance healing is like. So even go to sleep for about half an hour, but that's about enough. And then when you get up, you feel better. So this is where you temporarily reach the Anandamaya Kosh and then you come out. Right? Then we talk about the next part, which is the Vijnanamaya Kosh. We call the astral body. Here you're connecting with the psychic and causal dimensions, but what's really happening is when you're talking about Vijnanamaya, you're talking about intelligence. You're not talking about your own intelligence, you're talking about the intelligence of the universe. And there is an intelligence that's working with inside of you, but you're not really fully conscious of it. You're only semi-conscious about it. I'll explain. The working of the heart. You need to think about making it work. You don't. So there is an innate intelligence which is coming from the Vijnanamaya Kosh. That is what is actually making all your body functions work on its own. Then we talk about the mental body or the Manomaya Kosh. Now, this is the mental and emotional processes which we are aware of, and it also happens in the dreaming awareness. So, this is also a place where in your dream, you can recollect what was happening. There's a difference. Both of them, Vijnanamaya and Manomaya, are of the dreaming awareness or the subconscious level. But the difference between the Vijnanamay and the Manomay is that the Manomay is actually either helping or blocking the body from recovering. Because the mind is under our control to an extent. And if you're stressed out and you go to sleep, you will have maybe bad dreams. And many times people say the bad dream may be because your digestion is not really working well. And I'll show you later on that the mind is actually made up of this element of fire. Now, if the fire is out of control, or if it is, less than its normal healthy uh, intensity or potency, then it's going to cause harm to the body. And this is where the fire element is extremely important. And the fire element is also the digestion in our system, our body. So what we need to understand is that digestion is the main reason for disease. If your digestion is going bad, you will have all kinds of diseases. And this is where the mind comes in. This is where the mind controls us. Or this is also the way where we can control the mind. Next is the pranamaya kosha, the pranic body. This is the body that automatically controls the physiological functions in our body. And depending on how the mind instructs the pranamaya kosha, so the pranamaya kosha works accordingly. We all know about the annamaya kosha, which is the food body, which is the physical body. And this is where the conscious mind is working. And conscious mind is also working in the pranamaya kosha. So whatever we are thinking, that is also affecting these two bodies when we are awake. Can we go to the next slide, please? So we come to energy healing, why and how. So energy healing, what is it meant to do? Understand that we are only assisting the body to heal itself. We are not the healers. First of all, we are healing channels. And there is an innate healing ability in the body itself. So when, let's say, there is a cut or there is a any kind of injury, how come it heals itself? It's because the body itself, the physical body, has this capacity to heal itself. It is only when the body is unable or has deteriorated so much that it is not really able to heal itself, is when the energy healing actually it sort of uh, helps, and it makes sure that the healing is faster. Healing of the body becomes faster. That is our function on the physical level. On the level of the mental and emotional and destiny levels, what does this healing do? To assist the individual to realize his or her potential for change and progress. This is what healing does. There was a specific question about distance healing. How does it occur? So, very simple way of answering that question is that the atmosphere, as I've written, has no borders. Then atmosphere means air, and it is the air which is important and very necessary for us to be able to live in this world. You can survive without food, you can survive without water also. Without food for about a few days, maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks. Without water for about 3 to 4 days, but you cannot survive without air. So healing actually is prana, which is again not the air element itself. It is what is present in the air element. So there are man-made borders, yes, but there is no border for the atmosphere. And the energy of prana, which is present in the atmosphere, can travel. It doesn't. There is. It travels even faster than the speed of light, actually. So when we send healing to someone in different parts of the earth, it is almost instantaneous. That's how the healing works. But yes, I will say this, that even though it is instantaneous and it is going to change the way the aura is going to function, the pranamaya kosha is going to function, but it is going to take some time. And how much time depends on the problem. If your problem is chronic, it is very old, it is you've been having it for a number of years, it will take a long time. Yes, if you spend more time healing a certain issue which is acute in nature, let's say somebody is having a heart attack, for example, and we have to heal it. Yes, there are emergency ways of healing. There are techniques that are used. I'm not at liberty to share those techniques, but I will say one thing. If you are a clear channel for healing, uh, no technique really matters. That's what my master used to say. You should leave the techniques after some time. If you're a clear channel, the healing will flow anywhere in the world. So the next point I'm making is about, uh, so we're talking about the antakaran for a reason. The energy of healing is spiritual in nature. It is not from this world. It comes directly from the divine, the one single divine. And it flows through an energy tube which we call the antakaran. You can call it a tube of light or you can call it a tube of energy, but it is there. Now, the difference between a normal human being and a person who is a healing channel is uh, I would say, the amount of energy that comes in. Now, the antakaran is 1/6 in terms of diameter. It is 1/6 of a hair of a normal human hair. That is the diameter. But in the case of channels who are healing for others, it can grow to more than the size of a head, of a full head. So that is the difference. Now, what is the antakaran made of? It is made up of uh, man, buddhi, ahankar, and chitta. Buddhi, as I've explained in the Vijnanamaya Kosh, is the intelligence. Man, or as we call it, Manas Tattva, is that part of us which decides what to do after it has been fed with information from the five senses. The five senses of hearing, of feeling, of sight, of taste, of smell. These are the five senses which inform the mind, and the mind then takes its decision. Ahankar is used for a purpose. There is a purpose for ahankar. We always, maybe we think about ahankar ki nahi hona chahiye, but no. The real reason why ahankar exists is to make sure that the individual body, the cells in the body, are working in unison. That is the purpose of ahankar. Ahankar. But what it actually does is, if we exceed the boundary of the what it's meant for, then it is bad. So it's meant for the physical body. It's meant for ourselves. It's meant for the human system. When we exceed those boundaries, then it creates problems for us. And it in the ahankar and buddhi which creates emotion, because emotion does not have any logic. It's just there. It's just that feeling is there. Coming to chit, chit is actually the uh, collection of memories or of sanskars that we have had through all our past lives, which come into this life. And these are the four things which actually make up the antahakara, what we call the internal tool, or the action of the internal, which now we come down to the chakras and we come down to the physical body after this takes shape. So this takes shape at the point of conception. Can we go to the next slide, please? So I've basically, in way, I've written all this down. Anybody can also refer to this, but what I've said there is mentioned here. Can we go to the next one, please? Now we come to the chakras. So the antahkaran, when it comes down, it connects, and it is the crown chakra or the sahasrar chakra, which is just above our body, but uh, it has no function within the body, but it provides the energy so that the body can function. That's how the energy comes from above. So this is the energy of manifestation, which is absolutely opposite to the energy of the kundalini. So the kundalini is meant to actually go up, whereas this energy comes down. And the Reiki energy that I'm talking about also comes down, because that's how manifestation is taking place. You come from the crown chakra, which is spiritual in nature, to the third eye chakra, where the mind is the major tattva. Then you come down to the throat chakra again, which is a part of the tattva. The heart chakra, solar plexus chakra, again, it is uh, that's where the fire element is, Agni. The sacral chakra is the point where we talk about the water element. So these are, and finally, the earth element. So if you see from top to bottom, what's really happening is the space element and the mind, you cannot see. The uh, element of Vayu or the element of air, we can see, we can feel it, but we can't see it. The fire element is something we can see. That's the first element which makes us see. And the eyes also are made up of the fire element ultimately. So if you go to Ayurveda, they will tell you that there are 5 types of Agnis. One of them exists at the eye. So the sense of sight comes from here. Also, it is meant for digestion. So without this element, you can't really, nothing really happens in the body. And we talk about, in fact, I've not written this down here, but there are 3 qualities: the sattva, rajas, and tamas. The sattva is actually, it's a balance, but a balance of a higher nature. Tamas, what is it? There is nothing moving. It's immovable. So what really moves everything, whether it is sattva or whether it is tamas, fire element. And it is the fire element which is supposed to move everything. It is the element which is most important. That is why, this is why the mind is also taken as the fire element, because it is the mind that actually rules the body and also ensures the connection between the higher spheres, which is the Vijnanamaya Anandamaya Kosh, and the lower spheres, which is the Pranamaya and the Annamaya Kosh. So what we need to understand, this is the importance of fire. This is the importance of transformation, because this is the only element that can transform form from one form to the other form. If you're cooking, let's say, If you're cooking a vegetable, you're cooking some kind of food, you're using fire. And similarly, that cooking is also going on inside your body. The very fact that we are talking about oven, home, you're, you know, you're using the fire element there too. So this is a home of the physical body. It's going to give you what you put in terms of your mind. Then we go to the so you understand this is an element that rises up. That means fire rises up. The other elements of water and prithvi, the water always flows down, and the earth again is something which is totally static, and it will always fall down. Anything which is solid is going to fall. Can you go to the next slide, please? So this is what the tattva was about. This is very important to understand. So we talk about in Ayurveda, we talk about the different doshas. How do they exist in the body? So I'm going to give you a very different understanding. The kapha dosh is a mixture of water and earth. We know this. But it also is majorly present in the body, in the physical body, which we call the Annamaya Kosha. And the Vata element is the Pranamaya Kosha, air and Akash, which Ayurveda recognizes. But I'm going to give it a new understanding. Pranamaya Kosha, the physiological, how the physiology of the body works through the Pranamaya Kosha. And this is the Vata element. So what is really left, what really moves both the Kapha and the Vata is the Pitta or Agni, which is the Manomaya Kosha, the mental body. Can we go to the next slide, please? So the same, the Panchakoshas which I was talking about, Anandamaya Kosh, pure consciousness, Vijnanamaya Kosh, the intelligence body, but not only the intelligence that we think, it's not the intelligence that we are saying that we are intelligent and we are thinking in a certain manner. It's the innate intelligence of the body also, of the system, of the human system. Manomaya Kosh, as I've explained, is Agni. Pranmaya Kosh, as I've explained, is Vat, air and uh, space element. Annamaya Kosh again, Kapha, earth and water. Next, please. So the chakras, there are senses. So those senses again are also in the order that I have mentioned earlier. So Tanamatra basically means that it is the quality of the senses. And there is an organ of the senses also. Whereas the mind does not differentiate because there is no difference in any of these. But in terms of the space element, if the quality is sound, then how do you grasp sound? And that is through the ear. So just like that, this is just an indication. I think anybody can easily understand this. We don't need to really go into this too much. So we can go to the next one. Now here, a lot of people talk about chakras in terms of how the chakra is made. If I explain to you, if you see this horizontal line over here, that is the chakra that is within the body, but it also is supposed to when the aura, when you talk about the aura, it's going to come out from the front and the back. We are not talking about the Mooladhar, because Mooladhar is only going in one direction, and that is downwards. Right? But if you're talking about the sacral chakra or the hara, as we call it in Reiki, we often use that word. Uh, the chakra is here, but the energy coming out of the chakras is from the front and the back. So when I say front and back, I'm talking about either the hara or the solar plexus, which is 3 beats, This is three back and three front. This is the solar plexus. This is the heart chakra. Understand, the heart chakra is different from the heart. The heart chakra is in the middle of the chest, whereas the heart is a little to the left side. So they're different chakras actually. So just like that, the throat and the third eye, and of course the crown chakra is only upwards. Now, if you look at the aura, it is shaped like an egg. This is not actually the exact form. If you look at the egg, it is an inverted egg. That's how you look at the aura. Because if you look at the egg, it is shaped like a oval, but the oval is more pronounced at the bottom and is more sharp at the top. Whereas this is an ellipse, but over there it's different. So I'm just trying to explain. I couldn't get an exact impression on the internet, but this is how it is. So uh, if you look at the chakras, with each chakra, you will see that the color that it represents from bottom to top is the most the chakra that is at the bottom is closest to the body. And as the chakras go up, the different layers of the body start to come out. This is what I'm trying to. And what are these layers called? So we go to the next slide, and in that I will explain what these layers are called. So the root chakra or the Mooladhara, this is the chakra that represents all our past memories, karmic, spiritual layer, physical body. This is the physical body. This is where the closest uh, layer of the aura is connected to the root chakra. Past memories, I'm talking even past life memories. Now, if you, Trupti ma'am, I'd like to have a little bit of your understanding here. What I've understood from past life regression is
Yeah.
that when we are visiting a past life, the first thing you talk about is looking at the feet
Yeah.
and looking at uh, the earth around you.
Mm, that's true.
Right? So the feet are actually an extension of the root chakra.
That's true.
And the root chakra, I'll explain later, is connected directly to the third eye chakra.
Mm,
I'll explain that later. But you see, what we are trying to do is we are using the mind or our third eye and connecting to the root, because that's how you actually connect to the past life in this matter. So these are past memories which are lying at the root, but they will only be activated by the third eye chakra.
that's true, sir. That's absolutely true. Because most of the people who come in for past life therapy or who
Yes.
have a lot of prarabdh that they are carrying is all
Mm.
painful memories,
Yes. Yes.
you know. So the root chakra, as we know, holds a lot of insecurity, unsafeness,
Yes.
abuse. And this is
Yes.
exactly what people are going through in their current life.
Right.
So I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, sir.
So, as I was saying, this is the closest uh, layer of the aura. We go to the next layer, which is called the mental layer. The mental layer, when we talk about the Hara Chakra, there is a Sanskrit name for it, is called Swadhisthana. Swa means the self, Than means that part of the self which is our own. And that is where the ego actually lives. And that is how the mind is actually activated. So, this place is full of different mental fragmented energies in a normal human being. But those who are able to heal this area and In the Kundalini, this is the most difficult area to cross in terms of chakra, because it has a lot of memory. So the Hara Chakra, the mental layer, it's our mind, what it's not exactly memories, but the different kind of uh, responses that our mind has. And this is what affects the health layer, where we talk about the mind being fiery in nature, fire, the digestion, the real root of all kind of health issues. They all exist at the solar plexus, which is a little above, but it emanates from the Manipura, which is the navel. But it takes a lot of the function is in the solar plexus area. So I'll talk about this later. The heart chakra again is called the emotional layer, which I think is easily understandable because emotions are connected to the heart. The throat chakra is the astral layer. The astral layer actually means is that part of our system which connects to communication from different areas, from whether it's an environment we are living in. So you'll get certain, uh, let's say, feedback about something. If this chakra is very activated, then the astral layer can pick up conversation. It can pick up a lot of things from different parts of the world also, what is happening in different parts of the world. Sometimes it happens that you think of something, and that thing after some time, that is what is manifested. That's what's happened. So this is coming from the throat chakra, the astral layer. The third eye chakra is the divine astral layer. Now this is a higher area of the astral field, but it is connected to the divine because the crown chakra is the divine area. Actually, the crown chakra is the divine higher self layer. And the third eye chakra is a step down and a part of the crown chakra. It's difficult to understand, but it's a part of the crown chakra, but it is a step down from the crown because it has already entered the physical body. And this is a part, uh, it, it, it is the area where it directs the rest of the body. It's a master control chakra. Next, we go to the higher spiritual chakras and the lower, as I said, the material chakras. So the crown, third eye, throat, heart, these are the higher chakras. And the lower ones are material in nature, so they are connected to the solar plexus, hara, and root. If you understand, this is the solar plexus, the first place which we can sense in terms of sight. So everything below this we can see, everything above this we cannot see. If we come to arms and legs, now I'll explain the extension. So the arms, hands, and fingers are extensions of the third eye, throat, and heart chakra, primarily heart chakra. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that the hands are actually energy exit points, and it is the hands which perform karma. So whatever we are doing happens there. And if you really look at the physical body, then the maximum number of nervous, or I'd say the nerves that are there in the physical body, the maximum number of nerves are between the brain or the head and the hands through the arms. So you will see 50% of our most mudras are in these areas because that's where the control is happening. That's where karma is actually happening. Now, if you go to the material chakras, as I've said, these are uh, again the extension of the material chakras are the legs, feet, and toes. So there, if you're talking about extension of the solar plexus, when you move when you move the legs, it is the solar plexus which is activated. When you're talking about the water element or the Hara Chakra or the Swadhisthana Chakra, that is the flow of all the, whether you're talking about blood or whether you're talking about uh, lymphatic systems and all, they are all going through because of the Hara Chakra. The root chakra, primarily it is the root chakra which is moving the arms and legs because that is what is giving the energy to them. And it is because of the root chakra that you will see a lot of people have problems, whether they're physical, mental, emotional in nature, because the root chakra is weak. It doesn't have enough energy. So almost any problem that a person has, we always heal the root chakra. We always give more energy to the root chakra, because that is your survival. That's what survival is. It starts from there. And the legs, they tend to move the body in a certain direction, whereas the arms are doing the work, but the legs are moving the direction. So the direction of karma, energy exit point is also from there. So we must differentiate between these two limbs which we have and the two limbs that move us. And you will always see it is the legs which are the legs always tend to move forward. We are moving forward. We are never moving backward. So the progress happens when the legs are strong. So I will explain what these things are a little later in another slide. Now we're talking about chakra polarity here. So as I said, the third eye chakra and the root chakra are uh, they are opposite polar chakras, but they're also connected to each other. In fact, there's a lot of astrology connected to this, but I will not go into this right now. It will really make the whole presentation very long. Maybe some future presentation we'll have. So this is what this means. Root chakra and Hara chakra. The Hara or the Swadhisthana chakra is connected to the reproductive system. So when we are creating a body, that part is being used. But when we are talking about the throat chakra, it is also creative in nature because we are creating with our communication. That too is a creation point in a way. The heart chakra and the solar plexus chakra, these are the emotional areas. As I said, the emotional body, but there's a lower emotional area also, which is the solar plexus, made of fire. What is that? The good part is it can give you perseverance. The bad part is it can give you jealousy, it can give you hate. That is what the solar plexus chakra is. They both affect each other. That's why I said they can balance each other, but they both affect each other. So if you have a heart attack, mostly it's because of the solar plexus. Or you have any heart issue, it's the solar plexus. You have stress, solar plexus. The effect, heart chakra. The heart gets affected. So can we go to the next slide? So what I'm going to now reveal, so this is a cautionary note. Do not give judgmental diagnosis to people suffering from illness based on the below given information. Because you see, who are themselves therapists, who are themselves healing channels, this information is meant to be given to those people so they can understand and heal better. So, as I said, the information meant to be given to therapists. Sometimes the healing, the physical cause can also automatically heal emotional and mental causes of the illness. And if we heal the emotional and mental causes of the illness, the physical cause itself gets healed. So it goes both ways. That's how the body and the energy body they connect to each other. Now there are many healing methodologies: yoga, Ayurveda, PLR, energy healing, mantra, home. These are some of the examples. The ultimate aim should be to help the person who is suffering or the healing to recover. Next, please. So now we go to the third eye chakra. Now, the parts of the third eye chakra are the brain, the eyes, the temples, the spinal cord, and the nervous system, forehead and back of head, which is basically the front and back third eye chakra. So the forehead is the front part of the third eye chakra, as you've seen in the earlier image that I showed you, and the back of the head is again the back side of the third eye chakra. The ears are a part of the third eye chakra. The, all right. So the occipital. So these are different details. Now these are details which are meant to be used by therapists, and uh, their an understanding of what the condition is and what to do with it. So the eyes, we say, are the windows of the soul, how we view the world. If you're short-sighted, that means uh, your near sight is working well. It means that you are more focused on the present. You don't plan for the future, which is why you're nearsighted. You're not planning for the future means you have to wear glasses to be able to communicate at a distance. So you're not planning for the future. You're not thinking about the long term. You're thinking only about the short term. And the opposite, if you're farsighted, means you're a good planner, but you're not really working, uh, as I say, in terms of looking at what's really happening now. And the present is also important. So you will understand with this what you need to heal. Along with the eyesight, you're also healing these areas. That's how the eyes will become better. The eyebrows, the emotional expression of the person, the intuitive center. So the shape of the eyebrows actually shows uh, what kind of emotional expression, what kind of intuitive center you have. So if you see if there is a lot of gap between the eyebrows, that person's third eye chakra is slightly larger. They're more spiritually uh, connected in a way. Whereas you see some people have eyebrows and they're very close to each other. There's hardly any separation between them. Sometimes even the eyebrows are actually connected to each other. They're very grounded. They're only thinking about what's happening in the material plane. So emotional expression. You want to look at a person who is artistic in nature, you will see that the eyebrows are like bows. They're like this. There are others straight. There are certain others who have, the hair will actually point a little upwards at the end. So those actually mean those people are very, uh, they're dominant. They like to lead. So look at all these things and then decide what to heal. Nose, sense of smell, sexual response, self-recognition. So smell is connected to the root chakra or the Muladhara. That is the Tanmatra. And that is also connected to a sexual response because you see, it is the root chakra. When it is strong, the sexual response will also be very strong. If it is weak, the sexual response will be weak. And if you are often enough having sinusitis, if you're having cold very often, if there's a lot of blockage in around the nose, then obviously this is another problem. If you have what is called deviated septum, there's a lot of confusion in your life. You don't even know what profession to take. So these are things which will determine what kind of healing you need to do. If you're presented with a physical disease, if you're presented with some situation, you need to connect to this. Mouth, survival issues, your teeth. If your teeth are troubling you, survival issue means need for food, roti kapda makan, simple. food, clothes, a house to stay, you don't have those basic necessities, you're still having problems, you're still dealing with them. So the mouth, you will have cavities, you will have other issues. And sometimes you are so stringent about the ideas you have, you don't want to change them. So that's nature telling you, change your ideas. You need to take in more. If you want to take in new ideas, you need to understand them. And this will automatically improve if you change those, if you change the way your mind is thinking. This is how destiny changes. Ears, capacity to hear and accept the herd. Now, ears are extremely important. There are some people who say that I can't sleep, I have insomnia. Why does a person have insomnia? It is because there is continuously chattering of the mind. We are continuously talking, 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 and that thought is just not stopping. Yoga has a certain solution to this. They call it Murcha Pranayam, but it cannot be used for those for heart patients. It cannot be used for people who have high blood pressure or blood pressure issues. So, what do? We need to ensure that we need to heal the thoughts, slow them down, and the person will go to sleep. What's happening in the ears is the person is hearing, but it's not accepting the heard. They're not accepting what is being heard. And accepting means actually digesting it. So they're not digesting those thoughts. They're just moving around. So you're not sleeping. Forehead, third eye, the occipital lobes are at the back, temples. So mental, intellectual expression, nervous system, willpower, wisdom, intuition, mystic powers, all these are connected to this area because that is the third eye. It's wisdom. It's your discrimination. If that is faltering, this is the area that needs to be healed, given energy. Face, how we face the world, expression of our personality. You will always notice that people would like to present an image of themselves. And that image is more what they really look at and what they really focus on is mostly the face. So their expression of their personality, the image they want to create, the image they want to show is on the face. So you will see a lot of people who have facial paralysis. People who have what is called trigeminal neuralgia. There are three nerves that cover the face, and they're extremely painful when you have that. So these are the kind of issues that you will face, and this is what you need to do. Next slide. I think I've more or less explained these things. The throat chakra. What are the areas that are connected? Thyroid and parathyroid. Thyroid is the air conditioning system of the body. Parathyroid, of course, is connected to the bones, the development of the bone. Vocal cords, your speech. Ears, again, what you hear is again connected to this because the space element is where the ears also come in. So you will see there's a lot of dryness in the ears. Sometimes you have issues with the ears. It's because of it. Throat. You have a cough. You're not able to communicate well. That's why you have a cough. You have an ear infection. If you have a son and that son is not doing well, or if you don't have a son, you may have ear infections. This is another way. I cannot reveal much, but please connect to this. Sometimes this also helps. If you look at the ear, it's like a baby upside down in the womb. That's how the ear is shaped. From there, you get an understanding of what a child is and what you were as a child. So there's a lot of stuff that's connected there. throat, jaws. Jaws are basically again survival issues. Like I explained, the teeth, the gums and teeth, the jaws, the mouth. These are areas which concern us with problems which are survival issues, or where we are stuck. We don't want to change our thinking. Lymphatic system is our immune system. Basically, it's a part of the immune system. That's if you're talking about some people have blood cancer, especially lymphoma. That's connected to this area. Cancer again, if I really come to cancer, cancer is basically resentment. The huge resentment a person has, and that person does not want to show resentment. It's just inside. If you are, let's say, a doormat for someone, you don't like it, but you are in that position, you will get cancer. That is where the ego breaks down. And when the ego breaks down, a foreign consciousness enters. So that is an area you can heal cancer if you can understand this emotion. Anyway, so like I said, jaws, emotional, verbal communication, survival issues, throat, voice box, speech. If you're not speaking enough, you will have cough, you'll have some issue with the throat. Clairvoyant is connected to the third eye chakra. Clairaudient means you're hearing something. So you're catching on subtle sound. So you want to develop the throat chakra, you can do it like this. You need to keep healing this area. It helps. You get to know. We just like if I, as a healing channel, want to get feedback, sometimes the feedback comes very, very directly. That's how it comes. And it can come anytime. You just need to be sympathetic to it, understand it. So, uh, as I've explained, these cervical spondylosis, is a conflict of the intellect and the emotion. The intellect is in the brain, in the mind, in the head, and the emotion is in the heart chakra. When there is a conflict between this one and the other, you will always find that you will have cervical spondylitis or spondylosis. Once that conflict is over, it is over. So TMJ is something temporomandibular arthralgia. You have a lot of pain, and I have seen this in people who are having problems with survival issues. So when this area is affected, understand survival issues are there. Survival issues, as I have said, roti kapda makan. These will be there. Speech, expression, broadcast of communication, of course, is throat. Lymphatic system, immune system disorders. You're either overprotective about your boundaries or you're underprotective. You just don't have the right kind of balance. So this happens. Anahat, heart chakra. Thymus, again, is connected to the immune system. Yes. And thymus also is connected to frustration. So people who have nosebleeds, you will see they're somewhere or the other, they're frustrated inside. They're not letting out what they want to say. So there is anger inside. So there's a nosebleed. And you'll find them in little children because they're not able to express themselves properly. Sometimes. Sometimes they're pulled down by their parents or by the elder. They cannot express themselves. That becomes a problem. So there's a nosebleed. तो हम कहते हैं ना गर्मी होगी गर्मी होगी. Basically it's fire. You're containing it. So it's going to help. It's going to create problem. So thymus, lungs, heart, respiratory system, immune system, circulatory system, shoulders, a place when you're talking shouldering responsibility, shoulders are meant for responsibilities. And I always say responsibility is the ability to respond to a situation. If you're not responding to a situation, you're not taking responsibility. And the shoulders will pain. You'll have some problems with you. You'll have, frozen shoulder or things like that. Arms and hands. When they are affected, you can have paralysis of the arms and hands. You can have some injury. Uh, Maybe there is an amputation or something like that. That is hopelessness and helplessness. Because the arms and hands are meant for performing karma, performing some action or the other. And the moment this is affected, what is really happening is that you're not able to express yourself the way you want to. You're not able to do the actions that you want. So what it does is hopelessness is connected to the future. Remember, you have hope. I mean, you have hopelessness. You don't have any. You don't have any faith in the future. Helplessness in the present. So that's why I'm using two words, but they're meant for this, and that's where the healing needs to be done. So again, uh, there are illnesses in females, female tumors of the breast, chest, emotional, withheld emotions. They're not coming out because of some environmental uh, issues. You cannot say something. This will create this. Angina, ischemia, coronary artery disease, heart attack, all connected to emotions. Shoulders, again, I said, was so. Uh, it's basically explained. I think it's not a problem. Coming to the next one, Manipur, solar plexus chakra. Stomach, acid. It's the place where acid is supposed to dissolve the food. Duodenum, liver, gallbladder, that is the alkaline area. So the acid alkaline balance is a part of the solar plexus chakra. So the liver, gallbladder, of course, the gallbladder is the place where you can have stones. Stones is where you have a lot of anger. Again, you've not let it out. You've not digested that anger. So you will have gallbladder stone. Pancreas and spleen. Pancreas in Sanskrit or Hindi is called Agnashay. It is a place of fire. So when we talk about, let's say, people talk about कि ये गरम इसकी तासीर है. Basically, it means acidic. इसकी ठंडी तासीर है means alkaline. So you will see that you need to keep balancing the alkaline and the acid in the body. That's how food is supposed to be understood. Again, the small intestine is meant for absorption of the nutrition. And it is from here that the blood circulation, the blood carries the nutrients to different parts of the body to feed the cells. Navel is in Hindi or Sanskrit is called Nabhi. Nabhi means nabh. Nabh means space. It is also called, in Punjabi, we call it dhunni also. Dhun, which means a certain kind of dhun. Obviously, you will understand what dhun means. So this is an area, the Nabhi is a very important part of the body. वो कहते हैं ना नाभि हिल गई तो थोड़ी सी भी हिल जाए there will be gas. It can create constipation, it can create loose motions, it can create fever, it can create vomiting, all different directions in which it moves. So understand that actually, even though it is located at the solar plexus area, yet the Nabhi itself is is connected to the space element. So it is not fixed at one place. It keeps on moving. And all kinds of infections that we have in the body, in the energy field, they come through the Nabi. And it is from here that the 72,000 nadis actually spread out throughout the whole body. Which is why we never put our hand to heal on the navel. Because the navel has to be either very, very pure to be able to heal. Because if we heal there, the healing will spread throughout the body. But if the body, if that navel area and the rest of the body is not so clean, it will spread all the dirt throughout the body, which is not good. Right? So this is basically the solar plexus detail. Can we go to the next one? Yeah. So, so digestive or disorders, fever, infections, cold, cough, like I said. Right? Migraine, people think it's in the head, but actually is in the liver. So sometimes we have to heal the liver area, we have to heal the solar plexus area to get rid of migraine. All kinds of uh, uh, allergies are connected to the liver and the digestive system. We say that this person has had these skin issues, they're all related to this. We go to the next one, Swadhisthana. So large intestine, that is the excretory area of the body. Reproductive organs, again connected to this area. The reproductive organs are connected to this area. The kidneys are connected to this area. Kidneys are filters. Excretory system, urinary system, they're all connected to this area. What is this actually in terms of emotion? If we go to the next slide, I'll explain this. What this means emotionally when you have issues. So this is a part of what we call the Hara Chakra, the seat of the deepest emotions, hurt feelings, thinking, power center for men, not for women. For the women, the power center is the heart chakra. And that is why they're able to feed their young through the breasts, because that's where love is flowing. So they're very emotional in nature, women, mostly. Men, mostly egoistic in nature, which is why this is their power center. So lower back is a very important part of the body. If you're looking to work, if you're having work issues, if you're having professional issues, unresolved emotions, not able to relate with yourself, depression, they're all connected to the lower back as well as the abdominal, lower abdominal area below the navel. So genitals, area of reproduction, material creation in children. Large intestine to remove solid waste and long hand emotions which are not needed, but you hold them. That's why you have constipation. If you're holding on to a lot of emotions which you cannot digest, but those emotions still exist within large intestine, constipation. Urinary system, removing waste and emotions just arising, but not completely solidified. So if you have urinary issues, remember, those are recent emotions which you've not been able to come out of. Kidneys, filtering out products. Kidneys are places for relationships. We have relationship issues with our partners, we have relationship issues with our children, we have relationship issues with the world. You will see this. Kidney stones, anger in the relationships. So you'll see there will be a lot of formation of kidney stones in those people who are angry at their relations. They may have this. So the illnesses. Okay, so I basically explained this. We are talking about lumbar spondylosis. These are very deep rooted situations because they're connected to the skeletal system, which is a part of the root chakra. So if you have problems with bones, if you have problems with your muscular system, physical body, physical energy, they're all connected to this. So foundation of the body, body form, muscular system. Muscular system is mobility, body development. So if you're immobile, even in the mind, you don't want to change. This is connected. Skeletal system, foundation of the body, again. So when you're talking about survival issues, you're talking about the root chakra. Muscular system disorders, skeletal system disorders, growth disorders, suicidal tendencies, drug addiction. They're all connected to this. Diseases that are mild, recurring, and have no emotional or mental connection, where deeply karmic roots are there. You have a fever, it keeps coming. Nobody really knows why it's there. Heal this area, you get okay. But you need to keep healing this area, and then it'll go away. Legs, feet, and toes, very, very important. Thighs, personal strength, your self confidence is connected here. Your trust in your own abilities. Thighs. Knees, what is the biggest fear anybody can have? Fear of death, or one's ego, oneself, one's consciousness. You don't want to change. You're fearful of change. You don't want to take up certain responsibility issues. You're fearful. Knees will pain. Calf, same as knees and self-control issues. But here, this is very important. A lot of people who have habits which they cannot get rid of. This is the part which needs to be healed. Do you know that in terms of the circulatory system, there are various pumps in the body other than the heart. And the second important, most important pump in the body is the calf area, where the blood collects. So this pumps it back to the heart, which is why this is so important. So you don't want to change, right? You're stuck in a vicious cycle. You just cannot get out of it. You will see the calves will start paining. Anybody who wants to get a massage done, I will ensure 100% the moment the masseur starts to massage the calves, you will feel pain. Because this is an area anybody who's standing for too long, who's just not, when you're standing, what do you know? You're not moving, right? So you're stuck in a cycle. Ankles, balance, discrimination in life activity. Suppose you have color blindness. This is the area you need to heal, ankles. Because you cannot discriminate the colors. You start healing this, you will be able to, the eyes will be able to see the colors better. Feet, something goes wrong at the last moment where I try my best, I fail. You're not really able to reach your goal. People with this may be having problems with their feet. So there's fear of completion, there's laziness, there's procrastination. Heal this area, it'll go away. Amputation and paralysis, of course, are different. So this is basically an idea of what I was telling you about what healing, what you need to do with healing. Any questions? A lot of people have arthritis, and arthritis is connected to constipation. Arthritis is also connected to a fixed mind. You don't want to change. You're stubborn. The moment you change, you decide to do this, it'll go away. Even if it is a degenerative issues of the brain or of the bones, it'll go away. So like I said, the body has an innate intelligence to heal itself. We have to be open to the healing. Our job as a healing channel is only to help. It is the environment, it is the mental, emotional environment of the person, the people they are interacting with, the kind of food they are, addicted to, wanting to eat, that this happens. Imagine a diabetic. A diabetic is a person who has a lot of uh, uh, anger, which that person stores. That is what a diabetic is. And what really happens? How do you heal a diabetic? You give them a lot of bitter stuff. They've had so much of sweet, there's no sweetness left in life. So what nature says is, take something bitter. So I'm just telling you how this works. We need to be a little more, sensitive to these situations.
We have a question that's coming up.
Yeah.
Veronica, go ahead.
Thank you, sir, for this wonderful presentation. It was so informative and mind-blowing that you have given me so much of food for thought. My question is, in one of the slides, you have said something about the connection between the chakras. So far as I remember, in that slide, you have written that both ways these are connected, like throat chakra is connected to solar plexus, possibly you have written, and root is connected to third eye. That's the point, how root is connected to the third eye in both the ways. Like, can you give an example so that I can understand?
Yeah. So when you're talking about the root, it's your physical body, right? What gives direction to the physical body to move? I told you the third eye chakra is the master control chakra. So it is the mind which is telling the body to do something, and the body obeys. That's how the connection is. If you really want to know something more, I will tell you. There is something called a Vajra Nadi, which exists, uh, is a part of the Sushumna Nadi, right? Sushumna Nadi, there are three basic nadis. One is the Ida and the other is Pingala. The Ida is the moon channel, Pingala is the sun channel, and there is one single channel in the Kundalini system which we call the Sushumna. Within the Sushumna, there are smaller and more basically nadis that are within the Sushumna, right? Vajra Nadi is one of those nadis. Vajra means thunder, right? Right? And Vajra Asan, if you know in yoga, it is uh, it is one asan where the body automatically, the whole back becomes very straight, and there's a direct connection. If you're sitting on your buttocks, then that is the root chakra, and that's how the energy reaches up. So this is the connection between both the mind and the physical body. This is how they are connected. The other connection I was talking about was the sacral chakra or the Swadhisthana or the Hara with the throat chakra. So they also are communicate. Now, throat chakra is not only meant for communication, it is meant for creativity also. So you'll see people who are singing, who are speaking, they are creating. At the same time, on the physical level, creation is when you give birth to a baby for women, right? And that's where the reproductive organs, even for a male, are there. So if those are not there, the male cannot be a part of that. So that is another area of creation. This is another area of creation. That's how they're connecting to each other. And another thing is they're both areas where the parasympathetic nervous system also is there. Now, the parasympathetic nervous system is supposed to relax the body. So if you really look at it, these are relaxing things. When you speak to someone, you relax, right? On the physical level, creation, again, it's a form of relaxation. Parasympathetic system. The sympathetic system is the area of the heart as well as the solar plexus. They are again polarities, and that is the area where the body heats up. So the fire is there and the air is there. When the air and fire they come together, obviously there will be a lot of heat. So this is how it works, right?
Thank you, sir.
Anyone else wants to ask a question? So I'm curious, sir,
Yes.
when you're doing distance
Yes.
healing,
Yes.
Are you using the chakra as a portal?
So it's not something that you can describe in terms of a physical nature.
Okay.
It's something that you visualize.
Hmm.
So how do you visualize? You visualize with the higher chakra.
Hmm.
That's why the Reiki energy that comes in through the crown, into the third eye, into the throat chakra, and finally into the heart. From there, it spreads out to the arms and the hands.
Hmm.
So this energy is only up to this level, the chest level.
Hmm.
It does not go below this because the material chakras that are below this, it doesn't go there.
Hmm.
You can heal with the hands in different areas of the body,
Hmm.
but the energy doesn't flow down.
Hmm.
It only comes up to the heart. That's why the upper chakras are very important also.
Hmm.
So this is how you visualize. So this is where the law of attraction, but in a much more energetic form, it is there.
Hmm.
So when we use this in terms of visualization and in terms of using the energy, and of course there are certain mantras we use for this also. That's how the more we practice,
Hmm.
they say practice is perfect. So the more you practice this, the more you are able to connect with the aura of the other person and to heal the aura of the other person.
So would you
As I
visualize
said,
color?
the
No,
physical
I'm just
aura and the
asking, what are
physical
the
body.
things you will visualize? You will visualize color, you will visualize, you will chant mantras. What are the different things that you will use for the distance healing to take place, is what I'm asking. Like you said, mantra is something that you would
So
chant.
while you're visualizing, you're
Hmm.
yes, that is there. So there are certain mantras, and we do chant those mantras while visualizing.
Okay.
While visualizing.
Hmm.
So that there is a visualization of the mantra, there is an internal sound of the mantra.
Hmm.
Along with that, if we are focusing our thought on a certain area of the body, we are able to heal that. So if you really look at even in yoga, if you're looking at Shavasana, for example,
Hmm.
you lie down and you focus on different parts of the body and you start relaxing them with your mind.
Hmm.
So what is your mind doing? It's going to different parts of your body.
Correct.
And the body is actually following the direction of the mind.
Correct.
So let's expand that
Anjay.
and say that this can also be done at a global level.
Correct. Yes.
This is how this whole thing works actually.
Correct. Okay. Any questions? Ranika, do you want to ask something? You are also doing healing.
Yes,
So
yes,
that's why I said, yeah.
no questions. I would love to go through this presentation again. I just want to thank you, sir, for this beautiful thing. I think this, I even, a lot of people keep asking me, how does distant healing even work? So just this last 1 week, if I can share, ma'am, a small. So I'm working with a patient who has chronic gastritis and IBS since the last 10 years. And so he's recently working with a functional doctor whom I work with. And so we're trying to wean him off his medication, the conventional medication, and put him on enzymes and all. So now the doctor has made him take his the PPIs, the anti-acid alternate days. But the day he doesn't take the medication is when he gets severe bout of acid reflux and all. So when he told me, I said, okay, on the day you don't take the medication, you work with me. So I'm doing half-hour sessions with him, and he works with me. That during that half-hour session, the acidity goes down, and the next day he takes his medication. The day he does not take the medication is when I work with him. And he's very happy. He says how it has come down. I mean, it's tolerable now. So while we are weaning him off the medication, he's able to tolerate those symptoms and not just rush to pop a pill.
So are you healing this person in terms of touching his body, touch healing?
No,
or are you doing
he's in Bangalore and I am in Delhi.
You're in Delhi. So it's obviously distance healing.
It's distant healing. Yes. Over Zoom. We meet over Zoom.
Good. So let me share something with you. Maybe it will help you further. If the life force energy continues from birth to death, why cannot Reiki energy continue for a week, for 10 days, for a month? See how you can do something with that. So that even that second day or third day or fourth day or fifth day or seventh day, the person, whether you heal or not, the person will get back
Right.
automatically.
Correct.
Try that.
I think Ranika will do it. I'm sure she's very good with the work that she does.
Yeah.
So I want to ask another question. Is the
Okay.
receiver, that means the healer, the person who is wanting the healing,
Yeah.
in distance healing, has the person, I mean, is there a time that you decide that I will be healing you and you have to receive the healing? Anything like that? Some people do that. That's why I'm asking you.
Yeah, some people do that. I don't.
Okay.
Because you see, when I'm sending healing to someone, I do not tell them.
Okay.
And let's say if I heal, if they want to know, fine. But if they, you don't have to know.
Okay.
Because the healing will work on its own.
Right. Right.
It'll just move on its own. And if I'm healing someone, then the effect of that healing will last for a week, maybe a month. It depends on the intensity of the issue.
So will they get back to you and say, "Mujhe lag raha hai that you were healing me because I felt some tingling or I felt some sensations in my body"? Will they respond in some way to you?
Yeah. So there are two things that they do feel. One thing I did mention, that they feel sleepy if there is this issue that they have. They will feel sleepy for some time, right? And the other issue that they will have is sometimes they'll feel a lot of heat.
Heat. Okay.
When that heat, when there is heat, it means there is a resistance of the body of that person to accept the healing.
Okay.
And the healing is going to come through. There are some people who say, I don't believe in it. I say, you don't need to believe in healing. You don't need to believe anything. Experience it for yourself. There was a very simple case a few years back. Somebody said that I have this pain in my leg, but I don't believe you can heal at a distance. I said, fine. Do one thing, just close your eyes for 10 minutes, get up and see if that pain is still there. It wasn't there. He shook his legs. I can't understand how this happened. So sometimes even people are mentally not ready to receive the healing, but they still receive it.
Correct. Correct.
Sometimes people just don't. There are some people who get healing done for somebody else. They tell me, please don't tell them because they will not believe it. I said, that's okay. Doesn't matter. And they see the difference. It happens. But yes, if you're in touch, definitely it will help you.
So that is
it will help you more.
I think Ranika ne wahi kaha that her client and she are over Zoom. So obviously the giving and receiving is obviously at a faster rate, or maybe more involved, more engaged.
Yes.
So it can work faster or better or whatever it is.
Yes.
So I was just thinking, आपने जब Ranika को ये कहा कि the healing that you're doing, you're doing it on the alternate days, and on the day that he's taking the medication and you're not doing the healing, it should last for a week, a month, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is it okay? I'm asking you, of course. Is it okay for Ranika to give because like you rightly said, that when the person is receiving healing, the person may feel a little sleepy, right? If that's what you said.
Yes.
As the person is feeling a little sleepy, drowsy, it means he's moving into an altered state of consciousness, basically.
Correct.
Right? That's how he's receiving it at the subtlest level, right?
Yes.
At the subtlest level, I'm just asking Ranika and you, of course, both, if you give the client a post-hypnotic suggestion that tomorrow also, and for the next whole week, energy will continue to heal, or whatever else that you have to say, it can work.
Of course.
Do you think that can be done?
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's worth trying. Why not?
Yeah. I mean,
has
after
that.
all,
But
all the healing modalities actually use basically hypnosis, because unless you put the person into an altered state of consciousness, nothing much can be done, right?
Yes.
And like you have rightly
Yes.
said, sir, that the person doesn't need to be that aware. You can
Yes, he doesn't.
healing because you are at the subtlest level when you are
Yes.
doing it. So जो आपकी
Correct.
initial जो आपने slides दिखाई थी, number of
जी.
slides that you showed,
Yes.
I think are all from kind of what we call tattva bodh, because they're all
Yes.
kind of related slides. So what
Yeah.
healing
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
what distance healing is really when you work with the tattva rather than with the parts of the body or with the mind. Am I right
Yes.
to understand
Yes, that too. But well, I will make a little qualification on that.
that?
And that is, you see, the healing, because it is channeled from a spiritual source, so it does have a certain amount of, and that energy has an intelligence which is much beyond our capacity
Correct.
of understanding it. So it is of a divine nature, and the divine nature is the only nature which can overcome karmic situation.
Correct.
So say God does not interfere in the karmic system. And the energy that God actually has in terms of energy is that it is able to understand, it is able to overcome it, but it does not interfere. Because it wants us to go through a karmic journey. It wants us to understand, and it wants us, in a way, to take responsibility for what we do. That itself is also a parallel situation where, I mean, we all say, Bhagwan ne hame ye de diya, Bhagwan ne aisa kar diya, waisa kar diya. He's doing nothing. He's not interfering. He's giving you the free will to do what you want.
Yeah, true.
And also understand that if this is the cause, this is the effect. This is the cause, this is the effect. But if you're talking about the spiritual source, yes, it is capable of overcoming these things. It is capable of overcoming right and wrong. But there is one thing that is very, very important for a Reiki channel to understand. You cannot send healing, you cannot send energy for something wrong. Because that will rebound on you. That will rebound on us. So we can't do that. Somebody is telling me, this person is bad, do something about it. We can't do that. That's not possible. There is a reason that person has come into their lives.
Right. I want to just ask one more question before I take Bhuma's and Subi's question. So let us say, I'm just asking you, if you have ever healed or tried to heal a person who's in coma, and there has been communication from the patient that do not heal me, I have to go. Has there been anything like that? Because I'm curious to know. There are lots of Reiki people who do this kind of work with patients who are in coma. So, you know, and then obviously the patient dies, let's say, you know, leaves the physical body. So have you ever experienced a communication from a comatose patient saying, please stop, you know, I have to leave? ऐसा हुआ है कभी?
Yeah. So I normally, you know, it's a very easy thing to relate to such a thing. It's not difficult. A person who is in coma, find out what their kidney function is like.
Kidney, okay.
Kidney function. And you will see progressively, if the person does not want to come back, then the kidney will start to shut down.
Correct.
That is their relationship to the outside world.
Okay.
So their relationship to the outside world, when they are finishing that part of their life, they want to go, the kidneys will give that indication.
Correct.
There was a case of a person, of a child who was in an accident, who was on a ventilator, who was in coma, who had a swelling in the brain. He didn't want to go. It was very. And I think with healing, he was back to conscious life back to normal life within about 3 weeks.
Okay. Okay.
It
Right.
was a difficult case. Why? Because the accident was such that the brain was involved. In fact, it was such a bad accident that you could actually see the skull cracked open, and the brain, you could see the brain inside. And now, if a 14-year-old boy is in that situation, and no doctor will give you that guarantee that survive or not, especially when the brain has a swelling.
Okay.
And yet, he came back.
So, I mean, I'm
Now,
just asking.
that is not something that the doctor can explain.
I'm just asking that if you had not healed, do you think the
Why? Because his
patient would have
kidneys were
not come
functioning.
back? नहीं, मैं सिर्फ पूछ रही हूँ कि if you had not
I'll
given
tell you
distance
something.
healing, the patient would have not come back. Is that what you're saying?
Right. So I don't know whether it was me, but that's why I'm saying I'm only a channel. I am not the deciding person. I am only a channel. That the healing itself decides for its own. That okay. We don't decide anything for anyone. We can't.
Well, just like
We can only send healing and hope for the best result.
meditation can possibly facilitate the patient getting some.
I mean, that's what I said in the beginning. We are limited as human beings. We only have so much of. These are the 5 limitations we have to live under.
True. Okay, I think I'll Subi and Bhuma, please go ahead. Who's going to go first? Subi, please go first.
Thank you so much. So much of information and all. I have done Reiki and pranic healing, and I do healing for my immediate family people.
Yeah.
So what they have told me, I am not really very advanced in that, but I have done up to certain level, color and crystals and all that. But what we are taught is that we are not supposed to do healing without telling them, because sometimes when they are operating some machinery or they are driving or they are cooking, like you said, they come in a state of relaxation and all, and they might just doze off. So, but there are times that I feel like doing the healing, but since they are not available, they are not picking up the phone, I don't undertake that healing.
Right.
So, like you are saying, there is no need to really ask or inform them. So shall I go ahead and do the healing if my intuition says that I should send healing right now?
Let me give you an answer to that. When we are talking about pranic healing, the person is supposed to sit down with palms facing upward, correct? Or, right? And you heal for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, how long it takes, right? The pranas that you use, the color pranas that you use are mostly material colors. They're not spiritual colors, right? So those material colors can give you almost instantaneous results. But yes, the person can goes off to sleep. It has happened. I do pranic healing with spiritual colors, and I don't do it beyond 10 minutes. And that I only do in case of an emergency. When the person knows that I'm doing it, and I tell the person that after 10 minutes, I'll call you, please get up. And I also tell them that if you're sitting in a chair, don't sit in a chair, better to sit on the bed. Because if you fall off, you'll fall off to sleep very fast. That happens with pranic healing. But with healing, with the energy healing that we are doing, that is a little different. Right? If you're doing regular healing for somebody, when you start healing someone, yes, in the beginning, they may fall asleep. But if you're doing regular healing for the person, after some time, they're able to take those energies easily and they don't fall off to sleep. In fact, what happens is their energy increases. Even as Reiki channels, when we heal, our energy also increases. It's very different from mantra healing. Mantra healing is different. We collect the energy of the mantra, and when we give it to someone, our own energy drops. In this case, it doesn't. It goes up. Why? Because we receive about 20% of what we give. We also receive the energy as a result. as because we are channels, the energy is flowing through us. Right? When it goes to a distance, and who carries that healing at a distance? That's another secret. Basically, there are certain angels which carry that energy. They are also receiving the energy as a result. So therefore, if we are sending energy X amount, 50%, it reduces 50%. The angels take away 50%, 50% goes to the person. So there's a lot of technicalities here. There's a lot of stuff here which we can keep talking about. There's no end to it.
Okay,
And I've
so
only
we can
I've
have
only
a
come.
part two.
Yes. So this was
Dr.
only
Uma,
space.
please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much for a wonderful lecture, sir. I have one question that as a healer, you very clearly explained that you are a channel and you will be passing through the energy to the recipient, who is a subject
Yes.
who is requiring the healing. Having said that, and I understand that since it's done with a pure intention and it is done as a channel, you will not be interfering the karmic things of the client. You will be just passing on the energy to the person who is receiving. So you will, I believe that you will not be suffering as you are healing the person. That is
Correct.
one part of the question. And the second question is that uh, as you explained about the various areas that say skeletal issues, muscular issues, or certain aspects, spondylosis, spondylitis, etc., certain things you mentioned. So when a client receives the energy in terms of
Yes.
healing, after
Yes.
that, is the client, is it kind of an irreversible change, or the client is also advised to meditate or do certain processes, or how does it go?
I'll give you a very honest and a very clear answer. Okay. The healing, as I explained in one of my slides, is meant to assist you and assist your own innate healing.
Correct.
Right. The body is a dynamic system. And whatever habits, whatever lifestyle, whatever is going on in your mind, whatever is happening, our job is to keep altering that until you reach a state of harmony, a state of stability. Right? So that's when you reach a state of stability. After that, we will advise you that this is the kind of lifestyle you must also adopt, so that this situation does not come back. Because as I explained, the body is a dynamic system. What I do may come back later if your old habits come back, if your old lifestyle comes back, if your old thinking patterns come back. Right? But I'll tell you one more thing. We are also healing your destiny pattern. And your destiny pattern is connected to your previous lifetimes also. Right? There is a reason why that previous lifetime was there, and why you are now in a certain state that is connected to a previous lifetime, because that's where deep-rooted karma comes from. Something you need to resolve in this lifetime. Right? So that is an area, of course, which we also help you with, so that your mental state does not go back to that level.
Right. So in certain aspects of issues, like if as a person who is consciously not aware about what is the cause or what is the root cause in my past life, or from where is it coming, if I have not been able to pinpoint or connect the dots of the experience that I may be going through, or any patient is going through, then would you be able to guide through that also, through the healing?
That is our role.
Right.
That is our role. See, remember, it's not only your previous lifetime which is impacting you. your body has been given to you by your parents, and their body by their parents. So you see that ancestral lineage also is impacting your physical body in some way or the other. It is impacting your mind in a certain way also. That's where genetics comes in. And
Yes.
genetics is nothing but habits.
Yeah.
Right? Subconscious habits. Subconscious does not think, it just is habitual in nature. It is a conscious mind which is creative in nature. The subconscious mind is habitual in nature. That's our job, to change the habit of the person so that the conscious mind can put in new habits.
Okay, so sir,
Thank you.
thank you, Bhuma. Just to end the whole thing, I think people would also want to know whether distance healing, what is the cost of distance healing, all that, because there could be many people here who may be connecting to you after this. So can you please,
Okay.
and also this is going to be shared on YouTube. So
Yes.
I'm going to be putting details of your site and everything on YouTube. So
Sure.
can you please tell us that also?
Yeah. So some people ask for a
Tell about any workshop you conduct online. Any workshop, anything.
There is
This
not.
is a workshop. This is a workshop.
There is not teaching at this
See,
moment.
because I tell you what, since my work is not connected to training people
Right.
in the art of healing, my work is connected purely to healing. Simple. So I'm not going to, initiate anybody for that matter. I'm not into teaching. That's what I decided to do.
Because,
There
sir,
is already so many teachers.
costing of it, sir.
Sorry, yes, coming back to costing.
And
So let's say for a single day, if you want one single healing, which will last about 90 minutes for me, which I can inform the other person, that will be 2100. The effect of that mostly lasts for about a week. And they can continue to give me feedback for the next day or two, after which I will disconnect, but they will get the benefit. That will be there because I will heal for a week in advance. That's how I work. If anybody wants, if the situation demands more regular healing on a daily basis, and they want to contact me on a monthly basis and see what happens, then I will give them, okay, this will take so many months, this is how it will happen. Once I find out, and that process of finding out could be an hour at least, because there'll be a lot of details before I really take it up on a monthly basis. So that can range from 25,000 a month to anywhere up to even 70,000, depending if the whole family is involved on a monthly basis. Because you see, we have to understand something. We're not healing the person alone. We are healing their family, the people who are interacting. So that what is causing their issue also. So depending on the situation, again, there are some people who say, मेरा घर भी कर लो, मेरे बच्चों को भी कर लो, मेरे काम को भी कर लो. When all these things come in and they want progress in everything, then I have to work. That's why I'm saying that it can go up to even 70,000 in that case, depending on the situation.
Okay. Okay. So I think we've got some insight into distance healing and chakra especially, and how every chakra works. And I think it was a very interesting session. Harinderji, thank you so much. And I think I'm also interested in possibly having a Thursday with your wife who could talk about playing card.
Sure.
I've never heard about it. So I think many of us may have not heard about this. So I think we can hear more about it.
Sure.
So thank you so much. And God bless. And thank you, everybody, for being here.
Thank you.
Let us
Thank you.
continue our Thursday classes, getting some amazing guests. It's really, we really feel honored for all this. Okay, Rahul,
I'm also honored.
our last person. I don't know why
Okay,
he
there's one
waited
more.
so long to raise his hand, but now that he has raised his hand, yeah,
Sure.
Rahul, go ahead.
No, sorry, ma'am. That was by mistake.
I thought you just became sleepy with all the distance healing talk. Acha, पूछ लो.
Yeah.
You know, it was just I was going to put a namaste sign. Accidentally, I put the other sign.
Okay. So you don't have a question?
No.
Okay, fine.
For the first time.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you so much.